to accept failure.
要するに失敗しても大丈夫なんだと、チームとしても失敗を受け入れられるんだということを、ゲーム化したものでした。
Okay, so now we are going to try the next game, which is called naming objects.
では次に名前を言うゲームです。
Okay, so what you do is you are going to walk around and explore the room and you point to an object, like for example, this bag, and just say the name of the object, bag. Okay, say it out loud.
はい、何か指さしたらそれに対して声に出してその名前を言いましょう。例えば今私が指さしたのはバグなのでバグっていうわけですね。
Okay, and then you can, after that, you walk around and find another object and point to that object and then say the name of that object. Keep repeating.
だから部屋の中にあるものを、いろいろ回って指さして、声に出して名前をどんどん言っていきます。
Okay, so we have a time box of 1 minute for this. You can start doing it.
では1分でどうぞ。
iPad. Mic.
Evil. Jeans. Beer lover.
Time is up. Time is up. You can stop now. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to continue to the next game. This one, the first game was, the second game is pretty easy because you're just naming the objects, okay? The second game is almost the same, but now, so you're still pointing to an object, but instead of saying the name of that object, you say a totally different name, a different object, the name of a different object that is not related to the object. So for example, instead of saying this is a phone, I will say this is a spoon.
はい。では今度はじゃない名前を言ってください。要するに何か指さしたら全く違うもの。今私は携帯に指さして、違うことを言いましたよね。だからそういう今スプーンって言いました。携帯に対してそういうふうに指さすごとにその名前じゃないものを言ってください。これを繰り返します。
Okay. So the same thing. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Start now.
1分です。どうぞ。
建物。iPad. Baguette. Bread. Helmet. Carpet. No. Dress.
Okay, time is up. Time is up.
Right, 終わりです。
Okay, so let's process the games that you just participated in. So this is about establishing presence and ba, like after you create your space, it's important that you establish presence, right? And to do this, it's good to explore the room or the space that where you are doing the learning.
どういうことでしょうか。これは存在感と場の形成になってくるんですね。ですから、どういう場で学びを進めているかということによって、それをエスタブリッシュする、それを確立するというところからまず始まっています。
Okay. Now, the next thing, because they are going to learn new concepts, it's important also to show that they need a different way of thinking. So now it's producing some disruption in their traditional way of thinking.
あとは新たなことを今から学んだり習ったりしていくということにおいては、やや破壊的な形で教育を授けられることになります。そのためにその心構えの準備をしてもらうということにおいて、このゲームを通してその何ですかね、頭を柔らかくするんですよね。
Okay, so my question now is, which was easier and which was harder for you? Was it naming objects or unnaming the objects?
では皆様質問です。名前を言う方が楽なのか、じゃない名前を言う方が楽なのか、どちらが簡単にできました？
名前を言う方が簡単だっていう意見が多いです。
Most of the people said it's easier to name the name instead of not naming the name.
Yes, exactly. Because we are used to it. We've developed habits, right? And habits are not bad because they are shortcuts that make our lives easier. We don't have to think because now they are programmed into us.
そうですね。習慣がついているからでしょう。その習慣というのは悪くないんですよ。習慣というのは近道になるからです。何も考えなくてもすぐに反射的にできるようなことですよね。
Okay, but the problem is if we want them to learn new ways of working, then they have to become aware of the old habits that need to change.
ただ、新しい仕事の進め方をやろうと思った場合には、今までのやり方について十分、認知する必要があるんです。それをもって変化ができるんです。
And this game, the unnaming part, actually emphasizes that because you are creating that dissonance. So there's an uncomfortable feeling, and that's okay.
だから、じゃない名前を言うときには、非常になんていうんですかね、落ち着きのないような気持ちになりますよね。これはでも当たり前に出てくる気持ちで、別に不思議ではないんです。そして、それは全く問題はありません。
So you can use these two games together to emphasize and show habits, the existence of habits, and make the participants aware of these habits, and also to tell them that it's okay to feel uncomfortable when they are learning something new, because that is actually part of the learning journey. So if you want to learn agile, then there is some discomfort that will happen at an individual and at a team level.
そういう意味で、このじゃない名前と名前を言うそれぞれのゲームを一組にして、要するに習慣が人間には備わっていることを、改めて気づかせ、さらに、そういう習慣的なことじゃないものに関してはちょっと落ち着きがないような気持ちになる。新しい取り組みにおいては、特にアジャイルなどの場合にもそういう落ち着かない、ちょっとなんか変な気持ちになるのがあるけれども、これは個人レベルでもチームレベルでも同じくあって、それは問題視することはないということです。
Okay, at this point, I want to ask you guys, what questions do you have about the exercises so far?
ここまでのエクササイズについて質問があれば受けたいと思います。どうぞ。
発言したい人はマイクとカメラの前に来てくれるか、手を挙げたら私がマイクを持っていきます。
Oh yeah, we need the microphone, yep, so we can
Yep.
hear you.
マイクがないと聞こえないんです。私たち。ごめんなさい。
無理やり聞こうかな。
質問ですか？ありがとうございます。日本語と英語とどっちでもない。日本語で分かりました。このアクティビティはどのぐらいの頻度で誰に向けて行うことが一番効果的で多いですか
？These activities so far, what would be the frequency of doing them and to whom and how, shall we say, how effective do they work?
Okay. I would like to ask one or two participants to try and answer that.
こちらの方は答えを知っている参加者がいると思うので、経験者の方からマイクを持って一言お願いします。
Because someone might already know the answer.
多分誰か知ってる人がいる気がします。
そう誰だろう。あ、目があった
そうですね。入ってます。はい。専門家なんですけど、新しいチームを作るときとかに、みんな関係性ができてないときとかに、アイスブレイクとしてやるのがいいんじゃないかなというふうに個人的には思います。
Thank you. I'm the expert. I answer. It's like when you're building a new team, when there's not a lot of relations between the people, it's a great icebreaker. At least that's my first opinion.
That's a great answer.
はい、いい質問、いい答えです。ありがとうございます。
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I think that question got answered. Does someone else have another question?
質問の答えが出たようですので、次の方がいましたら質問。
It looks like we're good. Okay, let's proceed. I
では
think they're
続けていき
excited.
ましょ
I think they're excited for the next game. So, okay.
う。はい、次のゲームをやりたくて質問出さないんですよね。わかりました。
Okay, so the next one, so we have established like on the individual level how to be present. Now we are going to establish at the team level how to be present and how to be in synchronization.
はい、では、個人の存在感の出し方についてゲームが終わったので、ここでチームレベルでの存在感や、表現などですね。
So for this next game, I'm not sure how many total in room right now, but a team of 5 or 6. We form team of 5 to 6 people.
We have 28 in the room.
28. So what's a good one? I guess 6 or 5.
5. Let's say
5
5.
participants. Yes, 5 participants. So form circles of 5 people each, maximum.
じゃあ5人ずつグループになってください。5人ずつ輪になってください。
Okay. And for this one, we need to follow Z and Joel because they're going to demonstrate.
では、ジョエルさんとゼさんが、その場に会場にいるので、彼のデモを見てください。
Okay. So this game is called synchro clapping, or like which is short for synchronized clapping.
拍手回し、同期した拍手ということになります。
Okay, so now you're in a circle, you should be facing each other, and then somebody volunteers to start clapping, just one clap.
では、5人、
go ahead.
円になってますよね。内向いて、5人で円になってて、誰か1人任意に、手を挙げて、最初に拍手する人決めて、1回拍手します。
Okay, so now if you look at Z and Joel, they will demonstrate it. And basically the goal is for the team to pass around a clap, 2 people at a time. So we will demonstrate this.
では、ジョエル Z に従ってください。2人ずつですね、拍手を回していくということになります。その回し方についてはご覧ください。
Okay, so let's pretend that Z is passing the clap to Joel, and they have to do it at the same time. So that's synchronized. There should only be one sound clapping.
拍手を回すというのは同時に2人で拍手をするということになります。ジョエルとゼの、同期した拍手を確認してください。
Okay. So after it's passed to Joel, she will pass it to someone else in the team and so on. Try it. Yeah.
では、ジョエルさんに渡ったら、今度次のチームの人に渡してということで回していってください。
So it has to be synchronized, or else you cannot pass it.
同期しなかった場合、やり直しですよ。同時に一つの拍手の音が聞こえたら成功、その次の人が渡って次って感じでやってください。うまくいくまで繰り返してから回してください。
Okay, so now we can try it, everyone, if you don't have any questions. So do we have questions?
質問なければすべてのグループで始めてもらっていいんですけども、大丈夫ですか？
Okay, looks like it, yeah. Okay, now pause. Let's pause.
は
Just
い、ちょっと
listen.
待ってください。ちょっと聞いてください。
Okay, I'm going to give you a tip. Okay, instead of watching the hand, watch each other's eyes.
お互いの手を見つめるのではなく、お互いの目を見つめ合うとうまくいくかもしれません。ヒントでした。
Okay, now my challenge is you have to do it across the whole team as fast as possible. So just pa.
ただ、できるだけ早く回していってほしいんです。だからもう、パチ、パチ、パチ、パチっていうペースを目指してください。
So please continue.
では、もう一回続けてください。
Okay. It looks like you guys have got it.
皆さん、要領を得たようですね。
Okay, so we're going to proceed. So just a quick briefing, and then I will debrief with all of the games afterwards. Okay, so the first three games established your presence. This one now establishes presence with other people, right? So you're not just showing up with the team, but also now doing some sense making, like listening and observing the rest of the team. It's a form of reading the room so that you can be more synchronized.
最初の3つのエクササイズについては、個人の存在を確立するものでした。そして次に、いわゆる観察をしたり、聞いたり見たりですね、している行為によって、周りにも、気配りが進んでいます。まあ、KY とも言うときがありますよね。これが、一応できてくるわけです。
So this would, like I was explaining in the tips, it requires reading body language and sensing like the emotions and feelings of others so that you can be synchronized with them.
他の人の気持ちや仕草を読み取るということによって、 一緒に動機を取っていくことができるようになるんですね。
Okay. So I'm going to let you now try it one more time, but I observed some of you were just passing around in like sequence, right? You have to do it randomly. Pick a different team member and then try to pass it.
先ほど最終的には基本的には円の順にぐるぐるぐるぐる回っている形で、非常に安易な形で、拍手がうまくリズム取れてたようですけども、今度はランダムにですね、円に並んだ順じゃなくて、ランダムに発信してもう一回やってみてほしいと思います。
So this one requires concentrating and then passing it on as fast as possible without as much as possible without any pause. I will give you 1 minute.
で集中力が必要です。そして、できるだけ早く回すということについては、拍手と拍手の間の間隔がなるべく、狭くなっていくように、1分だけタイムボックスでやってみてください。
Okay, starting now.
どうぞ。
Okay, time's up. Time is
はい
up.
はい、時間いっぱいです。終わりです。
Okay. Thank you. Okay, the next game is called Count to 21. And for this, you can keep the same group, but maybe try to keep a distance from the other groups because it's going to confuse you.
では、同じグループ5人、6人組、そのままで結構ですけれども、少しグループとグループの間、間を取ってもらった方が混乱が避けられるかもしれません。21まで数えるゲームです。
Okay. Now you form a circle again and
Yeah.
make the circle as small as possible.
円になりますけども、今度は円の大きさをなるべく小さく、集まって、ギュッと集まってください。
And the goal of this is the whole team is going to count one by one, taking turns from 1 to 21. You have to close your eyes, and then it should be taking turns, meaning if two people start speaking simultaneously or at the same time, then you have to start again from 1.
一人一人順番に1から21まで数え上げるんですが、グループの中で全員目を閉じてやらないといけません。そして1、2、3といくんですけども、任意に、もちろん声出してカウントアップしていくんですが、同時に2人の人が話してしまったら、1からやり直しです。
Okay, so the challenge here is to have enough concentration and be able to sense when to not talk and when to talk.
ここからの集中力はですね、いつ数を自分で声を出して言えばいいのか、あるいはいつ黙っておけばいいのかを目を閉じたままグループです。役割をさしてください。
Okay, so now I will make it a bit easy. So round 1, eyes open. Round 1, eyes open.
第1ラウンドは目を開けたままにしましょう。少し簡単にして慣れてもらいます。
Remember, if you collide, if you do it at the same time, you have to start again from 1.
それでも、同じ数字を2人で言ってしまった場合には、1から数え上げ直しなので、やってみてくださいね。
Okay, any questions?
質問はありませんか？大丈夫ですか？
クエスチョンな
Looks like clear.
なしですか？大丈夫ですか？
ないです。
No questions.
Okay. So I'll start doing it now.
ではスタートです。
Two, three,
4,
5,
seven, eight,
9,
10,
11,
12, 13,
14,
15,
17, 18.
19.
20.
Okay. Is everyone done?
9, 10,
11,
12, 13, 14,
17.
Everyone done?
終わったチームが3つぐらいあります。残りの3つはまだやってます。
3 teams done, 3 teams still working.
Okay, okay.
Ah, もう全部のチームが終わったみたいです。あ、終わ
All
ってはいい。
teams, all teams
All
done.
teams done. Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're going to make it a bit harder, but instead of keeping the same sequence right now, mix it up. So go around, change places with your team.
はい。
Mix it
では
up.
少し難しくしますよ。まず、
Okay.
円の、順番というか、皆さん立ってるところを入れ替わりしてくださいね、まず。
Okay. And then close your eyes
そして目を閉じます。
and then try counting again from 1 to 21.
では目を閉じている状態で今度は21まで数えてみてください。
Can go now.
どうぞ。
3, 5,
6, 7,
8,
9,
10,
11,
12,
13,
14,
15,
16,
17,
18, 19.
20.
21.
Wow.
You got the 20.
1, 2, up. 1,
2, 3, 5,
6,
7,
8.
oh, 1,
1,
2, 3,
4, 5,
6,
7, 8.
8, oh, 1,
2.
One,
2, 3,
4, 5,
6,
7, 10, 11,
12,
13,
14, 15,
16, 17,
18,
19,
20.
21.
All done? Is everyone done?
終わりました？
終わりました。多分。
I think all teams done.
Okay, let's give ourselves a round of applause.
では全員拍手で称えましょう。
Okay, so I'm going to process now. So there are instructions here about how to do the steps, and then later on, I'm going to just give you a link to the slide so you can take the instructions with you and you can replicate them. There are also links to the videos actually of how this is done. So, okay,
プレゼン資料についてはまた後でリンクを渡しますので取りに行ってくださいね。ビデオもリンクがありますから参考にしてください。では、今日の取りまとめです。
Okay, so it's just a review about the games that you just learned, the two games. It's about establishing now your presence as a team member. And this requires more than just like showing up, right? It has to involve also sensing what the others need or what the others can contribute so that you can contribute also.
今回、チームとしての存在においては、一員としてどういうことになるのか、まずそこにいるだけではとても足りませんね。相手は何を求めているのか、相手は何を提供しているのか、それを知ることによって自分も提供する内容が判断できます。
Okay, so now I would like to open it up for you to ask your questions. What questions do you have about those two games? So the two last games that we played.
では、最後の2つのゲームについての感想を皆様の方から聞かせてください。お願いします。逐次通訳入るので、切って感想を述べてくださいね。
実はあと2分ちょっと過ぎてるので、早めに終わりましょう。
Okay. We're actually 2 minutes or 3 minutes over the allotted time, so we better
are we over?
zip through.
I'm sorry, so I'm
Mr.
keeping
Slowly.
I am sorry. So we can sum
この
up
話
now.
はアレンジ版というか、アレンジバージョンがあれば、教えてほしいです。
Oh, we just wanted to know if there are a few variations to what we just did.
Variations to what we just did. There are actually. But wait, how many minutes do we have? I thought we had a few more, right?
Minus 4 minutes. It stops at 4 p.m.
Oh, okay. I had a different code in my invite. Okay, so variations of this, like I showed you, they can close their eyes. There can be more team members. Team members can sit down. It can be the whole class sitting down and counting off from 1 to 21. And that's going to be like, they don't have to stand in a circle. They can just sit down anywhere. Yeah.
今のゲームのバリエーションとして目を閉じるバージョンがありましたよね。それから全員腰掛ける、あるいは床に座ってやる方法があります。さらにですね、全員でやる、5人グループじゃなくて、この部屋中の全員で21まで数え上げるというやり方ですね。
Okay. Are there any other, I guess, should we stop now? Or one more question?
ちょっと時間いっぱいで、この辺で置いた方がいいですか、美穂さん、すいません。
最後に一言。
Okay, one more.
Okay.
Can this be done also online with remote teams?
オンラインリモートチームは可能でしょうかという質問です。
Good question. So some of these can be done using like breakout groups. Like count off can be done, right? And the same thing. The synchro clap is harder. So just think about like, which ones can be done online and which ones can be done offline.
ブレイクアウトルームを使ってオンラインでできるものもありますよ。例えば21まで数えるものはできますが、拍手回しはもう少しオンラインでは厳しいかもしれませんね。
Okay. And I think that is all the time that we have. Thank you, everyone.
時間いっぱいになりました。皆さん本当にありがとうございました。
And just
Thank you.
a recommendation, if you're sharing your deck so that they can try the different exercises.
I will show the link. So there's references here. There's a QR code. So like take the QR code with you, and then we will share also in the Discord. In Discord.
ディスコードなどでも共有します。今 QR コード右上にあるので即座にそこから拾っていただいても結構です。
Thank you also to our on-site facilitators.
会場の
Joel.
ジョエルさんに拍手お願いします。
And also to Mifan and also Satsan for interpreting.
そして会場の、言語サポート美穂さん、通訳リームスでした。
ありがとう。
ありがとうございました。ベンもありがとう。また来てね。
ベン、please come again.
I will. This time with a visa.
来年はちゃんと来ます。
スクリーン共有先に止めてもらってから喋っていただいて。
スクリーン共有を止めていただいてから。
はいはい。
スクリーン共有を止めていただいて。
Ruben, Could you
Yes.
stop the screen share?
Oh, okay, okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
good. Better.
So we can go now.
Yeah, sure.
では、
ありがとうございます。
Alex, hi, Sally. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. あり
Bye.
がとうございます。
はい、
バイバイ
終了です。
会場の皆様に、これは通訳はもう大丈夫です。不要です。ありがとう
は
ございます。
い、どうも。
通訳設定をISS さんが通訳設定します。
通訳設定私の方でやります。ありがとうございます。
はいでは失礼します
お疲れ様でした。はい、せつさんありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございました
お疲れ様でした。どうもどう
どう
も。
もどうも。
皆様に協力していただきたいことがあり、この後のリキさんのセッションを、これ椅子だけでいい。そう椅子だけでいいので。
So we need to, yeah, oh, the chair was only chair. We don't need the desks, so only chair.
もっと前でもいいし。ありがとうね。
早い早い。
ありがとうございます。さすが。
では通訳設定をもう一回オンにしましたので、会場の iPad の、マイクがつながっている方の iPad の通訳設定、英語にしてください。お願いします。
川口さん、私、永瀬ですけど、何か会場で手伝うこと。
会場の、マイクがつながっている方の iPad の通訳設定、通訳モードを英語にセットお願いします。
はい、わかりました。通訳
で、はい、通訳、英語。はい。
オリジナルオーディオをミュートにするかどうかですけど、どうしたらいいですか？
ミュートにしなくて大丈夫です。
わ
はい、
かりました。
はい、ありがとうございます。
はい、これで英語になりました、会場のカメラ。
はい、完璧です。ありがとうございます。
で、品川から借りた持ち込みの iPad は消します。
あり
ありがとう
ございます。そのまま置いといていただいて大丈夫です。
で、これはいらない。
あと、インカムで長瀬さんがさっき探されてたので、インカム復旧優先で大丈夫だと思います。あとは、復旧は品川の方でできると思うので。
今からインカムつけます。まだ聞こえてないです。
はい。D に行っちゃった方が早いかも。長瀬さんが呼ばれてたよ、さっきっていうだけです。
Yep. Okay. Good. One. Can you hear me? Good. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, good.
Sorry, do you have a click or battery? I think my
Battery?
died. Small one, 3A.
Okay. Let me check. So you only have this type.
通訳の方、はい、ありがとうございます。
あ、すいません。あ、すいません。ちょっとお伺いしたくて、さっき確認すればよかったんですけど、英語から日本語は今回のセッションは、ごめんなさい。日本語から、今回のセッションって英日だけでしたっけ？聞こえてますの？
あ、ごめんなさい。英語チャンネルしか現地に聞こえてないです。ごめんなさい。通訳さん、現地に伝えるときは、
はい、わかりました。
英語チャンネルでお願いします。
はい、了解しました。はい、お願いします。はい。ます。
Whether they have another
Yeah,
speaker, but
okay.
they don't answer me, so maybe
Maybe I can ask if someone has battery. Tin, tin, tin.
or can I ask
We have one problem. My battery has 3A battery. Oh, thank you, Alex. Yeah, that's good.
Tagami-san, bring you.
Oh, you have. Okay. Alex, you have a battery, so let's see if it will work. Yes. Woody, you have everything. Like a scout.
Is that enough?
Yes, I think so. Yes. Yeah, let me check. Let me check.
日本人、会場で日本語話者の方に、ご連絡です。Announcement for Japanese language people。会場では、英語が流れるので、日本語を聞きたい方は、ご自身の PC 使って、イヤホン使って聞いていただくようお願いします。
リモートから川口です。あと、もう一つですね、ご質問の際、いつもだと日本語で喋っていただいてご質問を受け付けることができるように通訳さんで対応してもらったりするんですけど、今回は日本語のご質問はちょっと受けられないので、英語でご質問いただく方に限定させていただければと思います。申し訳ございません。
Okay, I will just click on this. No problem. Yep. Okay.
Okay, now it's working. Cool. Sorry for this. Konnichiwa, Dima desu. Dozo yoroshiku. That is all that I know in Japanese. So thank you for coming, and I'm really happy to share my story of applying agile coaching skills, leadership skills in Ukrainian armed forces. So anyone knows what this map shows? Raise your hand if you know. Yeah? Okay, some of you. Okay. So this is an air raid siren map over Ukraine. And Ukraine basically the biggest country in Europe, so it's quite a huge territory. And in red, if your region in red, it means that there is a chance that a rocket or bomb will be somewhere in your area. And it means that you need to go to a bomb shelter or to hide somewhere. So all Ukrainians know this, and even small kids. And you monitor it constantly. And presentation, a big part written during air raid sirens, because back at that time, when I was in the army, it was the most quiet. So a bit about myself. So my name is Dima. I am 14 years in IT, 5 years in consultancy, now working in small consulting company, Agile Drive, where I am a co-owner of this company. I worked with different companies. I think the Panasonic, which is a Japanese company. I'm helping German subsidiary with objective and key results. So on this picture, you can see, so this picture is taken on February 23rd, 2022, 4 p.m. And this is a picture that I took in one of the biggest bank of Ukraine, OTP Bank. And we have a team here that we helped to organize. Before bank worked in project teams, we created cross-functional product teams, and they have a sprint review. We have a CEO of the bank, we have the main stakeholder in agriculture sector. They providing a great feedback saying that team delivered in 2 weeks more than in project teams, they delivered in 6 months. Everything is great. I'm heading home. I have a dinner with my wife, with my kids. I got for a walk with my dog. And then this is a picture just in 1 day. So on this picture, my daughter sitting in the self-organized bomb shelter, and it was organized by me and my son. And also you can see a beautiful leg of my wife, of course, on this picture. And we were house near the Kiev, and we could see fighter jets fight in the sky over our house. At night, we could see fires from the bombs and rockets. And there was a time when Russians could really be close to our house. So they were already 10 km from us. So I decided to evacuate my family. And I took them to the border as millions of Ukrainians started to escape. And this is a picture of my family together with dog. By the way, we have a Japanese dog, Shiba Inu. Her name is Hanako, baby of flower. Yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't take her to this Tokyo trip. I think she would be really happy to be on her homeland. And my daughter gave me a letter at that point and said that I wish you, it's in Ukrainian, I wish you to be wise, happy, and find new friends. And I found a lot of new friends in the army. And that everything will be okay with you. Yeah, and then she said, I hope we will see each other. And this I hope was really difficult for me. And then at this point, I decided, okay, I will do everything in order to, yeah, to make this hope true. So I evacuated my family to Denmark, to my friend in Denmark. And I decided, okay, what I will do. So I joined Army. So I became officer and I became a company lead of 150 people. And I will describe how I applied agile. How company. Okay. What can I do? So you can. Okay. Yes, I will speak close. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, good. Tell me if everything is not okay again. And thank you. So this is a and I was on company. Yeah, is it fine? It's different levels of military units, and I was on company level. Actually, I started just in one. Decided to. They created a new company. So you should understand that when in February, and we do not say war. Started in 2014 when Russia eastern part of the Donbas region. So war full-scale invasion started in February 24th of 2022. So and of soldiers, surgeons, officers just in a month. And they were lacking of staff, of officers. So and then in a week, they approached me because they organized a new company and they said, an officer approached me and said, Dima, we are creating a new company. Would you like to be a company lead? And I said, okay, what? I just trying to figure out. And now you're asking me to do with 150 people. Can I think about it? Of course you can. And he was with a cigarette, just standing and said, yes. So I had about it. And then I said, okay, what can be worse? 30 people, 150 people, let's go. And this is where I started connection and analogy to what I knew because I needed some foundation. Yes. And then I thought, okay, squad, it's like a Scrum team, 7 plus minus 2 people, lead by a sergeant, like a Scrum master. Platoon is 3 Scrum teams working on common combat task, like in some product area. And then company is like if you worked in SAFe, yes, agile release train. Even we don't like it, agile coaches, but I worked as a release train engineer and I had 14 teams and I said, okay, 15, 14, what is the difference? So I became a company lead. And a bit more about the context where I operated. Yeah, so I was new in a role and domain, so I am not a professional military man. There wasn't no onboarding time because, again, 600,000 people were drafted, and I didn't have any illusion that someone can go and have a proper onboarding time, trainings, etc. I had to lead 150 armed men. They were divided in units and geographically distributed. I had to drive 120 km in order to get to each of the unit. Men that you haven't hired. So I didn't have any interview. Like, oh, what are your values? What would you like to get together, etc. So I didn't have any interview. I got different men from different industries with different personalities. So. And if I don't like them, I cannot move or fire them. I can move them internally, but I cannot move them outside of my company. and jobs that you cannot quit, and more. It turned out that some of the people could quit and I could quit, but I didn't know at that time. So you can see me here. So I definitely quit. And by the way, yes, I forgot to do one thing with all these technical things. Just to show you the transformation from business to military. I will do a bit of transformation as well. Yeah, so this is how I looked like. Only pens were different. Okay, so what I started to apply, the first thing that helped me from the day one is Canadian framework. Anyone heard about Canadian framework? Yeah, some of you. Good. So, so this is a sense-making framework developed by Dave Snowden, a Wells scientist. And basically what it says that there are different environments where we operate, and depending on what environment you operate, you need to act and lead differently. And I knew that I am operating in chaos, especially in February, March, it was chaos. So, and it means that in chaos, you don't need to worry about planning. There is no reason for long-term plan. And when I say long-term plan, I even mean 1 hour planning, because things were changing a lot. And this is what saves a lot of my time and energy without I didn't worry about planning. I just acted. I planned for 5-10 minute section. I acted, I reflected, I changed it, and so on. Some of my colleagues, officers in other companies, they try to make communication plans, planning for a week, etc. And of course, it was ruined. Yeah, and try to explain them that you should not do it. It just not the environment where we operate. So this is the first thing that helped me. And I actually say a big thank you to Dave Snowden. I saw him in Copenhagen 2 months ago and share it. A big thanks to him for this. And yeah, I am such a person that I like to go outside of comfort zone, because this is where you develop. But at that time, it felt like I am too far in comfort zone. And just to give you some examples why it was chaotic domain. So this is a message I get at 6:30 a.m. from my commander. And he says that in 30 minutes, give me 2 people that will go for explosives expert training. Explosives expert training is, so the job is very dangerous. And I ask, okay, how can you imagine I can give you in 30 minutes 2 people, taking into account that half of my people on duty and half of my people sleeping after duty? I said, Dima, it's easy. I already got from other company leads. Why are you asking these stupid questions? You just open the list of all surnames you have of soldiers and just pick up 2 names and give them to me. That's it. And I said, okay, interesting. So I understood that this will be a really hard decision if I just take some random names. Yes, I didn't want to take this responsibility on myself. Instead, I spent 1 day trying to find people that will like this job. And I found 3 people that started to fight because there were only 2 positions. Yeah, and then these 2 people, they are still working and they're super happy. So this is a picture of them cleaning the mines in Kherson region. It's on the south of Ukraine. I put smileys, but they're really smiling, believe me. I just don't want to expose their faces. And this is how their day looks like. Yeah, this is the outcome of their work every day. Another message to show you why it was chaotic domain is give me 1 person from each battery that will be medical instructor without medical education. Deadline right now. And this is what I liked in Army a lot. You get some order and they say deadline right now. So they think that I prepared everything. I predicted everything they want to ask, and I'm just waiting. And then order comes and say, here you go. Yes. So I spent half a day. again, my officer was mad about me because again, he wanted just to pick up some name and that's it. Yes, because he just need to do his job. I spent half a day because this is also dangerous job. Medical instructor is target number 2 on battlefield after commander. So also found a guy who would like it. Another example is that we moved a lot. Yes, you could get a message in the evenings that we are moving in the morning, you know, don't know where, etc. So it was very chaotic domain. So there were a lot of reactive things and not a lot of time for proactive, for improvement. And I wanted to change it. Yeah. So I started to think, okay, how can I change it? How I can move from this reactive to more proactive? And I started to read some books, and this is the book I reread, Turn the Ship Around. I read it when I was in the business. And then this is a picture soldier took of me falling asleep. So I really tried to think what to do. And when I asked some of my commanders, they said, Dima, you just need command and control. And when I asked them, how can I command and control 150 men geographically distributed that I do not see? How can I do it? They didn't have answer for this. And I like this quote from William Vermack, who says that between command and control, there is always an option. And if you have a MacBook, you actually see it every day. Yeah. And I believe depending on your experience, your option will be different. There is no one silver bullet. Depending on my experience, I choose the following. My option is to enable leadership on every level via 3 things. Providing clarity, and this is what I took from Turn the Ship Around. Creating psychologically safe environment and raising competence. And this is, now I will share you how I did these 3 things in order to enable leadership on every level of my company. And when I said every level, it means platoon and squad. So the first thing we did, we had a lot of different tasks, like deadline right now in 30 minutes, etc. And it was mess. We couldn't understand who is doing what, where the task. So I did a simple Trello board. And of course, it's not rocket science. For you, it's easy, but you should understand that my platoon leads, they are builders, drivers, miners, they are not IT guys. Whenever they saw this, oh, I can move this card. Oh my God, it's moving. It was a revolution for them. So we created this transparency on our tasks for the company, what we need to do. We put deadlines, we put who is doing what. And the really nice thing was that then we could see how others did it. So we started to build also knowledge base. A good rumor started to spread. And then I was approached by Battalion, which is another unit of 600 people, which has 5 companies. And they asked, we have a mess with vacations. Can we do something about it? And in Army, you can have like 1-2 days vacation in 2 months. Yeah. And of course, there is some schedule. Someone would like to go to daughter's birthday, mother's birthday, etc. It was a mess. You need to have a linkage of approval. So no one knew when they will go on vacation, whether they will go on vacation. So we did the same for Battalion. We created a Kanban board for vacation. Rumors spread further. And now Brigade came to me with 3,000 people and said, Dima, can we do with our vacation something as well? So we did the same, but they have more approval linkage. We did the same for Brigade. Another thing that we worked on providing clarity is information radiators. So there is some bias in the officers that more information they keep, more power they have. It's like, oh, they asking me, that means that I am more important. But I don't want to be bottleneck. I wanted to share information as much as possible. Of course, the information that can be shared. So in each unit, we share it like schedule of guarding, defense map, etc. Everything that soldiers needs to know. And of course, it's not fancy, yes, because we didn't have nice printers, etc. We had to find some printer in the village and ask someone to print for us. We had information refrigerators as well, because in the army you need to do a lot of reporting every day. How many ammunition you have, who is without helmets, how many thermal visions you have, etc., etc. And then you need to call everyone, etc., to ask for this information. We started to create a big table for each soldier and for each unit. And we, instead of half a day, we started to provide these reports in 10 minutes. And also, for providing clarity, we had short feedback loop. So we had daily stand-up twice a day. So now when I hear teams saying, oh, 15 minutes daily, every day, it's 10 o'clock, it's too early for us. Yeah, then I am sharing, okay, guys, I worked in the environment where we had twice a day at 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. Yeah. And when there was tough periods, we have demo retro planning every day, just 15 minutes for all of it. It was very quick catch up, 15 minutes where we had demo retro planning, like for tough, I don't know, 2 weeks of time. I tried to visit each platoon every week, so to have a face-to-face conversation. And yeah, I'm moving a lot, yes, so people do not see me. And also I shared my phone number with all soldiers. And said that you can call me anytime 24/7. First, they call me a lot, but this was great. It was a feedback what my platoon leads, what information they do not know or why they are not providing it. So after that, I talked to platoon leads. Okay, I get a call from your soldier. He's asking this. Do you know how to answer this? So, and over time, then I barely had any phone calls from soldiers. And the last on providing clarity is proper communication. So this is the big problem in Ukrainian army. Quite often orders is saying what to do without explaining the reason and rationale behind it. I put some of the examples here that I can share. For example, take a picture of all soldiers. Yeah. So this is the order. But if you do not understand why you need to take picture of all soldiers, you will take it many, many times and they will ask to remake it because it might be on your military ticket, it might be for newsletter, it might be, I don't know, for autobiography. And depending on it, you need to have different appearance. So I asked a lot of questions why, and my commander was not really pleased with me because, yeah, I kind of constantly ask why. And over time, actually, it started to change. And they understood that if they provide rationales, then we will perform our tasks faster and in better quality. Good. So this was about clarity. So if I would like to enable leadership on every level, I need to make sure that they understand the context around. Otherwise, they will not be able to take right decisions. That is why I worked on clarity. The next thing that I started to work was psychological safety. Anyone heard about psychological safety, Project Aristotle? Yeah, some of you. Good. So, so Google more than 10 years ago, they made a research on what make high-performing team high-performing. And they actually, for 2 years, they couldn't figure out it because they looked at some things that you can see, like level of education, whether it's, I don't know, gender distribution, remote or all together teams, etc. And they couldn't find patterns among 180 teams until they started to look at norms and behavior, and they understood that such thing as psychological safety is crucial. And how to explain it? It's when you as a team member, you don't afraid to make mistakes because you know that no one will laugh at you or blame at you. So this is basically how to explain what is psychological safety. And if I would like to enable leadership on every level, it means that I need to have this psychological safety for soldiers and surgeons, so they are not afraid to take responsibility. So I wanted, from focus on control, what I constantly was asked to do by my commander, I was try to focus on trust and learning. In the army, it's not easy to create psychological safety environment. Yes, because mistakes might be too big. But for me, it was a bit easier for two reasons. First, I was not biased with how to do in the army knowledge. I am not a professional military. I was with fresh eye from organizations, from IT, from business. And for the second, I didn't want to be general. Yeah, I planned to go back to my daughter. I didn't want to be general. I didn't build a career. So as in Internship Round book, it says caring but not caring. So caring about your staff, about your people, but not caring about consequences to yourself. So I worked on psychological safety, and it is difficult to explain to soldiers that are builders, miners, farmers, what is psychological safety. So I ask them, okay, guys, whenever something happened, bad happened, or maybe very good happened, what are the learnings we can take from this situation? Just ask this question and focus on this. And in the beginning, it was very funny. When we started to do this, some people say, oh, I know what is the learning. The learning is that this person screw up. And I said, no finger pointing, no blame. What is the learning we can take, not for taking into account personality, but around us, environment, system, because if it happens here, it may happen somewhere else. So we tried to work on this, but for me, it was not easy because my commanders always said, oh, you need to go and shout and scream. You need to punish them because they made mistakes. And also Criminal Code of Ukraine is still from Soviet Union time. Doesn't help you because if you lost one bullet, not in the fight, but I don't know, somewhere on the road, they can prosecute you and do some bad stuff with you. So I was really in doubt, am I doing the right thing? Should I be mad, as my commander said, or should I be calm and say what are the learnings, how we can improve, be a Scrum Master / Agile coach? And what helped me, I found, so my colleague, she showed me, oh, Dima, there is such thing as an after action review. And this is a booklet from 90s. And after action review is like a retrospective, but in the military. And they started to have them. The first one was in 1971. So way before Scrum, Agile was written and invented, etc. So they're very good in retrospectives. And I said, oh, interesting. There is something about then learnings, not only command and control. And General Gordon Sullivan, he is chief of US Army staff, he said that the single most important innovations of the past 20 years in the US Army is not their technology, is not their tanks, stealth, etc., is after action review. And then I said, oh, interesting. Then I need to dig even deeper. Probably I do some right things. And I started to look at different units in US Armies that are doing after action review. And then I found this OP4 unit. And this is one of the best US Army units. They call opposite force unit. They are training other units. And they are constantly smaller in size than their opponent. They constantly have less armor, less equipment, and they competition after the competition, they're winning. And it's not like they build a great stable team. No, they rotate their members every year. I think like 30% of members rotating every year. So it's a culture there, not people. And they say that underlying of force consistent success is the way it uses the after action review. So all units in US Army unit it's not only US Army, it's also NATO armies also use after action review. So all units use after action review, but they do it somehow differently. Yeah, so all units are using, but OP4 does it differently. And I will share only 2 examples of on what they do differently. I have a separate talk where I just sharing for 1 hour what they do differently, but I just share 2 what they do differently. So first thing they do differently is that it is more important to correct thinking rather than things. Let me give you example. So I had a training drill for one of my units. And this unit, they guarded the critical infrastructure object. And when they are guarding it, usually unit divided into 2 parts. One is in duty near the object, another is having rest somewhere close by, like 1 km from. And then I came to the duty unit, which is half of this one, and said, okay, there is a training drill, imaginary attack from the north, blah, blah, blah. And then sergeant calls reserve unit to go and back up to support them. And then I see that 2 soldiers are coming without helmets. Yeah? And then we have after action review after that, like a retrospective, after they selected positions, etc. And then we have after action review. And then they come up with improvement that, oh, next time we need to always to take our helmets with us. And said, yeah, a great improvement. So yeah, it looks okay. Yeah, we need next time we need to take always helmets with us. And then I asked 2 soldiers, okay, but why you know that you should take it? Why you didn't take it from your reserve unit? And they said, we didn't take it because our helmets, we left them in the tent near the object because they're heavy. We didn't want to bring them. It means that if you just have this improvement idea, it will not help you because your helmet's somewhere away. So instead, you need to correct thinking that your ammunition should always be with you whenever you go. Yeah. So we as humans, we're really good in seeing the connection between action and results. Yes, what I did something and this is a result, we are good to see this. But we are not thinking quite often what was before the action, was the mind process. So this is what OP4 does in after action review. Another is, we know we will have a retro, so observe and challenge. So quite often in business and IT teams, we say, oh, we will have retrospective, let's talk about it. Oh, there is a dead body over there. No, leave it. We will have a retrospective, we will talk it over there. But they are trying to keep notes all the time. And this is a picture of me taking notes. We had 15 minutes training drill, 15 minutes, you don't need to take notes. Yeah, you will have 15 minutes and then you will discuss it. But I asked platoon leads and sergeants to take notes so we can cross-check afterwards and have a fact-based decisions. Yeah, so it was psychological safety. Yeah, tried to work on learnings instead of punishment and screaming. And then how to motivate people to take responsibility. Again, I was approached and said, oh, Dima, you need just to punish and give some benefits. This is it. And I said, oh, yeah, I know it's a carrot and stick approach. It's not really working. So instead, I worked on intrinsic motivation, which is Daniel Pink is describing in his book. So according to Daniel Pink, there is, if you have autonomy, mastery, and purpose, then you are motivated intrinsically, yeah, from inside. And purpose for all Ukrainians is clear. Yes, we all know there wasn't a problem with it. And then I had to choose whether to work on autonomy or mastery, and I started to work on mastery because in order people to take responsibilities, they need some competence to do the job. Yes. And also that I will to delegate, I need to make sure that they have some competence to perform it. So I found the veterans that, and again, I didn't have illusions that I need to wait for government that will provide trainings, etc. Because 600,000 people. So I found veterans from 2014 that were in the war, and now due to health issues or other things, they are not there. And we created a training base. So we also took a Bondonit hospital, and hundreds and hundreds of soldiers went through this training base. So this is how we try to raise their competence. It's like learning in our IT companies, yes, or other businesses. I received quite a lot of skepticism because, oh, Dima, what are you doing? You need to wait for a proper training. Yes, you just found some guy who knows medical tactics. That's not enough. Yeah, but I didn't stop, and Jack Fields drop by drop. So over time, we created this core curriculum of trainings our instructors could do. And it's in Ukrainian, but one line could be like half a day training. So it was quite an extensive training. Soldiers, they quite often, they are tired and they don't want to go for training. They would rather sleep. But I insisted because this is really important, yes, for them to survive. So we had a cadence for trainings where all units were, we had a schedule and all units knew what to do. We also pay attention to physical training. We rent some barns in the villages and created sport gyms, luxury, bought some equipment and asked also soldiers to do some physical exercises because this is also important. And all of this helped me to start to delegate. First, providing clarity, what is the context to take decision. Second, psychological safety, so they are not afraid to make mistake and take some responsibility. And third, raise their competence. And then there is the management 3.0. There are 7 levels of delegations. So you can delegate differently, yeah, from tell, where you basically not delegate, you just tell, and to full delegation. And there is different scales of it. And then you have different tasks. So you can choose on what level each task you would like to delegate. For example, sanctions, no one wants to make sanctions, yeah? So it had to be me, unfortunately, yes? If it's create reports, then it, or let's say guard and block posts, so to create an overview of how guard posts are created, we had to do in consensus with platoon leads. But then there were some stuff that we delegated. For example, create vacation schedule. First it was platoon lead's responsibility, but then we delegated to soldiers. Before that, it was all platoon lead always was a bad guy. Oh, you didn't let me to go on my daughter's birthday. Oh, you didn't, blah, blah, blah. After that, we said, okay, soldiers, you are doing it now. And they started to talk even more and started to build relationship because they know that they can swap sometimes their vacation. So between command and control, there is always an option. And as I said, depending on your experience, your option will be different. Based on my experience, I choose to do it by enabling leadership on every level, by providing clarity, creating psychologically safe environment to extent possible, and raising competence. And I actually started to have more time. So remember this proactive, yeah? So I love to run. So I started to have time for running somewhere in the fields, but with bulletproof waist. And actually one of my dreams came true. I always wanted to buy a motorbike, but my wife always said, no, you have kids, it's too dangerous. And then I was sad one day and I called her and said, can I buy a motorbike? And she said, of course you can. What else bad can happen? So I bought a motorbike and one of soldiers taught me how to drive it. And I use it to inspect my units. And I recognize that this became much better, so less of different problems. And then I asked, guys, what happened? And they said, oh, when you are going on your motorbike, it's too loud. We can hear you like 1 km before you come in, so we can prepare for inspection. Yeah, and this is me for the last day. I'm coming to Kiev, to home. And this is the picture I took when I came to home. You can see it's on calendar 23rd of February. So the apartment was just the way we left it in the 5 a.m. in the morning. And yeah, also a New Year resolution for 22 was still there. And be careful with your wishes, because my wife wanted to live in another country, to live for a while in another country. My kids wanted to learn new language, and I wanted to have sabbatical from my job. And this is what we got. Yeah, so be careful. Universe will listen to you and give you what you want, but maybe in another form. And this is a picture me joining family. So we are now living in Denmark. Yeah, so we are happy. I opened the same company, Agile Drive in Denmark. So now we have 2 offices, Copenhagen and Kiev. And now I'm helping my comrades. So I'm buying equipment like sniper optics, drones, thermal visions, tablets, different demining machines. The last thing we did is a demining machine. And also we translated and adopted after action review to Ukrainian language. And what we do, we print it out and we distribute among people. And my colleagues that are not in the military and that are Ukraine, they are also making some courses. So they are explaining how to do after action review. So basic facilitation skills, because a lot of officers, they do not know them. Yeah, and that's it. So this is a QR code to LinkedIn. We'll be happy to connect. And yeah, thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you, thank you. Does anyone have a question?
This is a picture taken by soldier. So you can see beauty everywhere, even on front line. So if there are any questions, then we'll be happy to answer.
Hi, hello. Thank you for sharing your story. It's kind of heartbreaking to hear. I just can imagine what happened to you that day on February 23rd. Just a question. I would like to ask actually a lot of questions, but we're not in a bar, so I won't do it. But just about to remain on the theme of agile. So now you quit your company, but I think the people are still in there. Maybe the people from your previous company. That since you quit the army, I think some of the people are still there. Yes. And I just want to know that now they have a shift of management, maybe over there. Do you have any feedback, or you're still in contact with them? Or I don't know, maybe they're still showing you respect about your method. I mean, how do they feel about it? But
you mean in the army?
Yeah, in the army, about your management, which was, I think, very human kind of. And what they have now, maybe do you have some feedback about that? Or
do we need to wait for interpreter to translate the language? The question? Okay, yeah, good. So before I joined the army, I was co-owner of the own company. So it's not like I quit. So I just was on sabbatical as I wanted. Actually, so my partner in the company worked at that time and supported me a lot financially, because my family was in Copenhagen, not the cheap place to live. And in the army, I do not really receive money a lot. So they supported me financially during these 8 months. Yeah, and then when I back, so now I'm back with Agile Drive, and now we are open in Europe. So I have clients in Europe, like Panasonic, in Estonia we have, in Cyprus, yeah, and in Denmark. In terms of army, then of course I left, and I still have the survivor syndrome, because you cannot leave the army. Yes, and of course I'm helping. Now I'm helping by other means, by this equipment. We are trying to spread the word about after action review in Ukrainian army. Hopefully it will be more official things that everyone needs to do. Yeah, and in contact with my soldiers almost every day. Yeah, and asking how they are and what they help they need. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. So I appreciate that you have used a lot of things that you learned previously in the World Agile. I'm wondering, what did you learn in your time in the military that you think would be helpful for people practicing agility in, say, corporate environment?
Yeah, thank you. Very good question. So what I learned before army, I was more a servant leader, and probably too extreme. So for me, it was quite difficult to be direct and lead. I would always seek for acceptance, compromise, to find the common ground. And sometimes it takes a lot of time, energy. And it sometimes pisses off people because we do not take decision. And this is where I changed in the army. So we all know that leadership should be different, situational leadership, depending on where you are, with whom, what decisions you take, what level of motivation, competence the people have, etc. And this is what I bring sometimes. So of course, Scrum Master is a servant leader. Now it's a true leader. Yeah. So I think we should not be only servant leader, but also sometimes be direct and lead the way, and not seek for compromise, and all team members should agree, etc. So I think this is my main takeaway in the army. And for me, it's easier now to take a bold decision because of this 8 months of practice. Okay. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Dima-san. And let me share some of the message from organizer. There's a couple of things I need to share here. So this is the last session for today, and we will have mainly OST tomorrow, Open Space Technology tomorrow, and there's some workshop as well. And there's a sign-up board upstairs. If you're interested in, please sign up by filling your name on the board. And if you have empty coffee paper cup, don't throw away around here. And there's a designated trash box for that collecting, because we would like to recycle the paper. And as you may know, there's a photo booth, and you can get a good photo by a professional photographer. And this is ending today, later today, till 6 p.m. So please hurry up. And we're not gonna have that tomorrow. Please miss the opportunity. Don't miss the opportunity. And that is it. I didn't share that in Japanese. Let me share in Japanese as well. いくつか運営から、メッセージがあります。明日は OST がメインで9時45分開始です。 ワークショップがいくつかあるので、サインアップしたい方は、上の階、2階でサインアップをお願いします。あとは、空のコーヒー用の紙コップを持っている方は、そこら辺に捨てずに、上に、回収用のゴミ箱がありますので、そちらにお願いします。OK。以上です。ありがとうございました。Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.